We were speaking last time of the divine inhabitant guiding us from within, whether we are aware of it or not. The divine inhabitant, to use Sri Aurobindo's words in the synthesis, is never offended by our revolt. He has the love of a mother and the patience of a teacher. Mother also refers to this role of a mother, guiding, tending, promoting. But she adds, he does not impose himself. He does not compel in any way. On the other hand, he is, in a sense, servant of love. He serves all that the external egoistic personality indulges in, he bears. Mother calls upon us to follow this example of the divine inhabitant within. But it takes time to be aware of him, to put ourselves in tune with the divine presence, and what is more important, to follow the intimations. Very rarely do the intimations come in the form of a command. They are soft promptings, almost like whispers. And all this takes time till we are able to sense and follow, become attuned to his presence. We must allow divine love to penetrate us. What's the way? Certainly not knowledge. Knowledge from books can only stuff our minds with information, with theories, with philosophies. But love, the pure divine love that pervades the universe and that is at the fount of things, we should allow it to penetrate and transform us. This entails a discipline, both positive and negative. Negative is to reject, refuse participation in movements, whether of mind or of feelings or activities which are inimical to the presence of divine love. Movements which act as a veil, obstruct the flow of love. They have to be rigorously kept out, eliminated. And positively, we have to take every opportunity to build an atmosphere, a climate of goodwill, harmony, friendship, and service, spirit of service. These are the climatic elements that create a favorable ground for the efflorescence of true love, which alone is divine love. No demand either for recognition or for response, no conditions, but an unconditional flow of oneness at some level. That's how the true divine love begins. And that is the right way and the royal way to reach the sanctum of the divine within. Particularly in a discipline like ours, which is more a psychological discipline than physiological. Love is the key to the opening of the gates. One may be ignorant in mind, one may be impulsive in the vital, but as long as there is that shred, there is that element of love, there is a strong possibility. If you have observed things around you, in our ashram, for instance, the weakest of us, to put it mildly, has a saving grace, and that is love for mother. I won't call it devotion, but love. Somewhere it flows, it springs up when her name is taken, when her picture is seen, when a word of her is read. So this is possible here because over the years this has been a center of the efflorescence of divine love, which has been largely a one-way traffic. But still, it has established itself, and we have an opportunity of a lifetime to let this love work in us and bring about a change. A change. I don't speak of transformation, because transformation is a big word, though it is being used very loosely. Change of nature. Transformation is a change of the structure of consciousness, structure of the being, not just change of nature. But we start with change of nature. And this changing of nature becomes spontaneous at the prompting of love. If I have a choice between two alternatives, I would not think, what does the Shastra say in such a situation? What does Life Divine say in such a situation? I would ask myself, What would mother expect me to do? What would appeal to her? Let us not identify too closely mother with the physical manifestation that was known to us as mother, the divine mother. What would be appealing? What would be approved? And my choice goes on that. I don't spend half a minute deciding the course of my action. It is spontaneous. But what is required in the spontaneous reference and immediate acceptance of the right choice is sincerity. Sincerity. Sri Aurobindo gives, and mother does also, great importance to sincerity. Next to faith, sincerity. Sincerity, as you all know, he defines as to lift the whole of the being to the highest level of consciousness attained. Not that my whole consciousness is suffused with that ideal, but there is a part which is thoroughly injected with that truth, and automatically I take my station there and see this is deciding things from the highest level that one has attained. These are necessary, and this is the condition for opening to the divine love and acting upon it in day-to-day life. Opening to the divine love, the next step is to follow his example. Patience, understanding, charity, identity of feeling and understanding. Third step is to offer to him the marvelous instrument of our physical body. Easy enough to offer the heart, offer the mind, but to offer the body. And the body plays a capital role in this yoga. That is, the body should be utilized only for the purposes that advance the manifestation of the truth that we have chosen as the lodestar of our life. The body, contrary to all ascetic superstitions that have prevailed down the centuries all over the world, today we are recognizing the importance of the body. Not only here, but all over the world, more in the West than in the East. A great deal of research is being conducted, and successfully, in the functionings of the body. Discovery of the potential of the body. And this should be placed at the disposal of the divine. This needs considerable perseverance. There are ups and downs, successes and failures. But if one is sincere, if one sets about it in the right spirit, she says, to one who is sincere, everything in life becomes an indication. Meeting people, happenings around, circumstances, words that we hear, everything assumes a different significance than otherwise. For one on the path, everything that happens has a significance. Only we must have the eye and the sense to note it, and not just note, to take the hint and mold ourselves in that direction. The path is long, and there are moments of depression, despair. One is tempted often to throw up the sponge, give up. But very soon we realize that for one who has chosen, there is no going back. It is not left to our choice any longer. The choice has been of the soul. And once the soul has chosen, and we have followed the direction, there is no going back. The way may be long, some may have longer, but still one has to go on. To encourage those who are faced with such ordeals and beset with doubt whether all this is real, whether one is not fantasizing. She quotes some words which she describes as coming from one, a spiritual seeker who has undergone the worst of ordeals, intense suffering. She doesn't spell out who that worker is, but I have a good suspicion that it is herself, because the language is such that it is typically hers. And in that, she appeals to those who are in distress, who are in disappointment, who are on the verge of breakdown. She says, this is not the end of things. You may be in the night, but the sun is sure to rise. Every morning, the rising sun brings hope. Don't forget that. The night is not for all time. If you are misunderstood, if everybody finds fault with you, know that the utmost misunderstanding at times opens the way, compels real communion. Some of the best friendships have flowered out of the worst adversarial contacts in everyone's life. Those who act as foes, enemies, they turn out to be the best friends. Provided, of course, there is sincerity in both. And then she expresses another spiritual truth. The deeper the abyss, the deeper you go, more the heights that reveal themselves. Because the truth above and the truth below are the same. The Veda speaks of the lost sun. The sun is there, but there is another sun who has been lost, who is covered with darkness. That is the inconscient. And the lower you go, the more you become aware of the truth on the heights. So it is not a last word. And another point that she makes is each sorrow in which you are plunged helplessly is a purifying crucible. What the Greeks call catharsis. The flames of suffering, the flames of sorrows, they purify you. They have a cleansing effect. Each. She doesn't say grief as sorrow. And then, deafened as we are in this world of cacophony, flatteries, abuses, cajolings, meaningless talk, she says, learn to listen to the voice of silence. The voice of silence opens you to some level of true intimations. You realize the voice of silence doesn't speak in so many words. It comes as a wordless intimation. There are many passages in Savitri where Sri Aurobindo describes wordless speech, which is more powerful than wordy speech. So this voice of silence, you must train yourself every day to open to this silence. Not to anticipate what is going to come, but just stay quiet. And when that opening to the silence in some part of the being is stabilized, the voice will take an active role. She describes how this universe is pervaded by all anti-divine elements, putting obstructions everywhere, vitiating everything, and filling with dark clouds. Everything is against this working of love. Everything obstructs the descent of the divine love. So much of passion, so much of anger, so much of desires, individual and collective. They shut the doors for the descent of divine love. When such, and these moments are not rare, at such moments, love sprouts from within. When love is not allowed to descend from above, it does not go back. It finds its way down and sprouts from within. And this truth is spoken of in scriptures, mystic traditions, as the Holocaust, the supreme Holocaust, where the divine, whether as the Purusha, as in the Veda, or the Supreme Mother of whom Sri Aurobindo speaks, the divine offers itself completely as a sacrifice, willing sacrifice, so that the creation can be saved. and the divinity starts manifesting at the lowest level. We have to always remember that there is a potentiality of love in every one of us. And because of that, there is a divine presence in each one. Every seeker has to learn to awake to the divine inhabitant not only in every other person, but in everything, in every creature. Of course, man is the highest as far as these things are concerned, and yet, of all the creatures, man is the most frail. His very strength is his weakness. And she adds, man is the most frail being, but he is also the most divine, because the potentiality of manifesting the divine is at the highest in him. The one condition is humility. She mother used to pay great importance to humility. So the last sentence in this essay is, in humiliation lies the cradle of glory. Everyone thinks when they read this that it is a mistake. It is a wrong translation in English to call humiliation, and so they put it humility. When someone translated it here in the ashram for the first time from French and put humility, she corrected it. She says, no, this is not. Humiliation, that is all the normal values of life which give you importance, which raise you, which give you some self-respect and all that, they all should be washed out. And when you are in worldly terms, you are humiliated, you are deprived of worldly honor, that is, you don't expect anything anymore from the world. That's the beginning of the cradle of glory. So in humiliation, many of us are inclined to look upon the moment of humiliation as the worst in our life. To them she says, you are mistaken. It is the cradle of glory. It is a moment of awakening. You realize that all that you thought of yourself is not true. All the strength on which you prided yourself doesn't stand by you. If there is anything that is worth, it is the divine presence, the divine promise, the divine potentiality. Humanly, there is nothing. Once we realize that, and the ego is eliminated voluntarily or involuntarily, that's the beginning of a new life. And this is the supreme discovery. Just 2 points. One is the individual I and the universal I are one. Second, in humiliation lies the cradle of glory. There are many derived truths that there is a divine presence in each one, and to learn to recognize and regard the divine is the surest way of developing a spiritual consciousness. At the next session, we will study the theme, what is the most useful work? In 1912, she had a small group in Paris of those who wanted to know, have the knowledge, have the experience of truth. And she would put a question and expect everybody, attendees maybe hardly 5 or 6, to bring their answers to the question. They would be read out, and after that she would read out her own writing on the subject. And this essay is the most useful work. It was written in 1912, has been put as a preface today in the conversations, what is now issued as questions and answers of 1929. Originally it was conversations, and that is the preface. She had spoken of it in 1912. We will take it up next time.